The goalkeeper has announced that she's retiring from the international team and likely will eventually retire from NWSL as well. She did mention this in her interview with Sam Ewis that she was considering both retiring from the Chicago team and the national team, but at speaking with her family, she decided to only retire from one, which means in the near future, maybe another year or two, we could see Alyssa Naeher also leave Chicago as well in retirement. But as I said before, the goalkeeper, she as retired, Alyssa Naeher, hanging it up after being arguably the best keeper in United States history. People argue between her and Hope Solo. Personally, I think she's better than Hope Solo just through just the quality of the saves, but also her killer instinct and penalties, as well as being someone who has the courage and the mental fortitude to take pins herself. That's not a common thing in women's soccer where the keeper is taking pins themselves. Hope Solo never took pins. And what we'll call a buck. A lot of the reason people will tend to favor Hope Solo over Alyssa Naeher is looks. Hope Solo was very, very popular amongst the male audience because she is a commercially attractive individual. Understand that when I say that commercially attractive means someone who visually looks good for American beauty standards. Not saying that Alyssa Naeher isn't someone who could be attractive for things of that nature, but commercial beauty is just basically just this is someone who's going to get a lot of sponsorship deals because of their looks, and Hope Solo was that. So a lot of men who don't watch women's sports knew who Hope Solo was because of her visuals, even though she was still a great keeper. I do also say that reason why Hope might get a nod over Alyssa by most people would be because Hope played more games. Hope started with the national team very early, whereas Alyssa Naeher started with the national team very late. So they didn't have the same start to their career. But when Alyssa Naeher hanging it up, the next thing that comes to mind is who's the next up? Who's the next player to get the spot for, of U.S. goalkeeper? Now Naeher's still going to be playing in the upcoming games. This is basically her last hurrah. Which she's leaving on top of the pyramid because the USA did win the Olympics. But let's switch into another scene so we talk about some of the potential replacements for Alyssa Naeher going forward. All right, so the list of keepers who will likely replace Alyssa Naeher, the competition is going to be pretty freaking tough. Like I said, Mandy Hawk, Fallon, Katie Lunn, Kingsbury, Casey Murphy, and Jane Campbell will be the people who will be in the running for that starting spot. Personally, I think it will come down to Kingsbury and Tolish Joyce. Tolish Joyce, in my opinion, was the best keeper in NWSL before she left. She got signed by Manchester United as a replacement for Mary Earps, and that should be a very, very big telling on how good she is, because Mary Earps is an award-winning keeper, one of the best keepers in the world, and United felt Tolish Joyce was good enough to be the person who replaced her, and she's having a very, very good season for United. Halt's a very good keeper, but there's just something about Tolish Joyce's style of keeping that's very, very similar to how Alyssa and Hope were in net. She's a taller keeper. She is very, very talented, very gifted in how she plays. But not to say that the others aren't as good. I do think Katie Lunn's just a step below her, and Kingsbury, she's definitely someone who has that killer instinct and that ice and veins mentality you want from a keeper. Outside of the fact that she's won the championship twice. She also has experience. Tolish Joyce doesn't have a lot of experience with national team. Again, this is her first call up. Excuse me, because my voice, I have stuff he knows. But Tolish getting her first call up. Kingsbury has experience. Same thing comes like Jane Campbell and Casey Murphy. All three of them have experience. Campbell has won the best keeper award in the USL. So she is one of those keepers. But personally, like I said, I think it's going to come down to, I don't think Halt's in the discussion, and I don't think Lund's in the discussion. I think it's going to come down to the games Tolish Joyce gets, and then she's going to be in a competition with Murphy, Kingsbury, and Campbell. I think more than likely when it comes to experience, it probably go to Kingsbury because she has the experience, and then probably go to Murphy as well. Again, I think the best option would be Tolish Joyce, but I do think like in just looking at how Emma Hayes normally goes with the teams, I can see it coming down to Kingsbury and Murphy just via experience. But as Tulsa gets that experience, though, you could see her get more starts. I don't think there's a keeper who you see as like the next long term keeper. Like I see us have like a rotation between these four players until we can figure something out, especially because like youth. We might want a younger keeper. And so that's where like someone like Engineer Anderson would come in and Mandy Hot. Like I said, Mandy Hot's not, I don't think she's in discussion right now. I think Emma Hayes will go with experience to replace Nair. So again, Tola Joyce, Campbell, Murphy, Kingsbury, they have that international experience. Tola Joyce is getting her international experience now. But when it comes to the future, when it comes to like, getting someone who's young as an established player to go within the future for long term, you could see it being Mandy Holt, or you could see it being Angelina Anderson, who needs more playtime. Angelina Anderson isn't a starter, whereas Mandy Holt is. She starts for Utah, whereas Angelina Anderson is a backup to Dee Heritage in Kansas City. But I do think Anderson has potential to be a very good keeper. Again, her and Holt being the younger potentials. Have they given her a call up yet? I don't remember if they have or haven't given a call up to AJ Anderson, but we could see that. We're going to see like a lot of rotations in the future when it comes to national team, when it comes to especially during the friendlies. We're going to start seeing, we might see AJ Anderson during some like friendlies in the future, like maybe next year, see her in some friendlies. But for the most part, these next few friendlies after Nair has her Sentinel games will be a tryout for like Kingsbury, Murphy, Campbell. Like we could see Campbell get phased out, to be honest with you. If she is, it's not really like an age thing, but because Kingsbury's 33. But I think Campbell being on a team that's not good at all, because Houston sucks, you could see her start get phased out more, and it becomes more of a race between Cholas, Joyce, Kingsbury, Murphy, and Holt, with Holt being that young player who could be the future. But it's interesting. Like we're saying goodbye to a very, very good player when it comes to like, when Hope Solo retired, there was a question mark. There was like, okay, who's going to be next, and can that next person be, what Hope was for the USA, and Nair was that and more. So you're gonna have the same question here. It was like, which of these players between Fallon, Aubrey, Casey, Mandy, Angelina, who could be that person? Who could be, the one who for the long haul is the person who you have faith in that, because you need that. You don't want to have a rotation, at keeper. You want to have someone who you just rely on, who's like, okay, this is our keeper. Who could that be? My pick for who I would want it to be would be Tolis Joyce or Anderson. But like I said, I could see it coming down to Kingsbury, Casey, and Tolis Joyce when it comes to like the just the older players. But then the younger players will be Mandy and Angelina. Again, apologies for my voice. Like I said, I have stuffed nose, so we're not gonna have the energy and the whatnots. But yeah, this video is mostly just about the future. Who could be replacing Alyssa Naeher for the long haul, and also just to say thank you to Alyssa Naeher for being who she is. She's a great keeper. In my opinion, she's the GOAT keeper, aka she's the greatest of all time for the national team. If people gonna argue about Hope Solo, is valid. It's not like an invalid thing to say the Hope Solo is better. But for me personally, I just think Nair is the better keeper for numerous reasons, and the consistency of her performing at a top level, and also taking pins. Like that's a big deal to me. To me, that says a lot about a keeper's mentality when it comes to taking pins, and also just being as clinical as she is at stopping pins. But Alyssa was is a great keeper, and we will miss her because we're going there. As good as these keepers are, there's gonna be moments where like they have off days, and we're gonna be sitting there, I wish we had Alyssa there. This person's not like Alyssa. And, like that's gonna happen because fans are fans, and fans will always compare people to who was it before. And you gotta let people grow. Again, Angelina Anderson's 23. You know, you gotta let her grow. Manny Hot is 20 freaking 6. You gotta let her grow. You know, she just turned 26 too. These are young players. You gotta let them grow. You know, Casey, Kingsbury, and Taylor Joyce are a bit older. And, you know, like I said, I think Taylor Joyce has been overlooked in my opinion. I don't know, you know, what it is when it comes to the national teams where they just never really gave her a shot. Again, it's her first time getting called up. She's 28. You kind of want more when it comes to you know, giving people a time and effort. But again, it comes down to it when you have keepers who are good as you know, Murphy and Campbell and Kingsbury and Naeher. Yeah, it's gonna be hard for, you know, people like Anthony Anderson and Taylor Joyce to get a shot. But that's it for me. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Catch you guys on the next one. I'll be your boy, Mr. Archer. I'll see you guys and see you guys. You have a great rest of your day. I'll stay safe. Be count another. I'm out of here. Deuces.